All right, we're going to look into changing a percent into a decimal conversion. So we have four different examples to look at here. And so now let's look at example A. So going through these three steps, you'll notice that some steps may not apply. So let's look at step one. If the percent has a fractional part, convert the fraction to a decimal, into its equivalent decimal. So that doesn't really apply to A, B, C. Actually, it does apply to D. So we're actually going to ignore step one for A, B, and C. So let's move on to step two. Remove the percent symbol. Okay, so let's look at this example here. We'll just drop down the below and say 45, and we're going to drop the percentage. Okay, we're done with step two. Now move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Insert zeros if needed. Okay, so we'll change 45. And now notice that the decimal at this current place, even though there's no decimal, would be after the 5. Okay, if needed, go ahead and put that decimal in there so you know where it is. And we're going to move this to the left 2 places. So we're going to move it over 1, 2. We're going to move it over 2 places, and so that's going to become 0.45. And if you want, this is also equivalent to 0.45. 0.45, 0.45. And that's it. Insert zeros if needed. Now that's not the zero I was referring to. That's not what this zero is referring to. I'll show you when that applies. But yeah, so let's go ahead and so either solution will work, 0.45 or 0.45. They're both equivalent to 45%, but in decimal form. All right, example B. Now, this can be challenging for some students when the number is above 100%, but just follow the same process and you'll be good. Okay, so once again, we can skip step one because there's no fractional part. Only if there's a fractional part are you going to do step one. So let's move on and just bring down the 175 and leave off the percentage. And then we'll notice that there's a decimal place right after the 5, and then we're going to move this over 2 decimal places, right in between the 1 and 7, and so this will become 1.75, and that's it. We're done. So remove the percentage, move the decimal over 2 places to the left. That's it. Example C. Now, here we have 4.5%. So we do have a decimal already here. We don't have to insert a decimal after that last number, like in example A and B. We already have our decimal. So in some ways, this can be considered easier. So we'll get rid of the percentage, and we just have 4.5, not 4.5%. And then so we already have the decimal here. We're going to move this over 2 places. 1, now it's to the left of 4. Move it over 1 more place here. Notice that we just skipped over a blank. So we have to insert a 0 here where there's a blank. And this is where step 3 comes into place, the rest of step 3 that I underlined over here. Move the decimal point 2 places. We did that. We've done that for all of these. But now we have to the left. And then now we have insert zeros if needed. So this is where we insert a 0. If we're moving over something that's not there, then we have to insert a 0. If there's nothing there that we're moving the decimal over, then we have to place a 0 there. So this then becomes, since the decimal is now to the left of the 0, we have 0.045. And equivalently similar to A, we have this is also equivalent to 0 point. You could put a 0 before to the left of the decimal and then put 0.45. Either way, they're equivalent. Now, example D, we have a fraction. So this now we can look at step 1 and apply step 1. So 1 3/4%. What we want to do is focus on the fraction and convert the fraction into a decimal equivalent. So 1 3/4, as you may know, is equal to 1.75. 3/4 is 0.75. And then we still have the percentage. We haven't gotten rid of that yet. So we just did step 1, convert the fraction into a percentage, or sorry, a decimal. And then now we can take this 1.75 and leave off the percentage, and we can move that that decimal over to the left 2 spots. So we just skipped over a blank again, so we need to put a 0 in there. So this then becomes 0.0175, which is also equivalent to 0.0175. Again, either way. All right, that's the process. We went over 4 examples. Hopefully this helped. Let me know if you have any concerns with this process, and I'll be more than happy to help.